What's a GOAT dish that you'd want your significant other to cook for you?
I feel like I do all the cooking, which is hard work. It's a whole nother job in itself. The men I know aren't that great at cooking.
There's men that cook though.
There are some.
There's men that are chefs.
I'm gonna say I'll do the cooking for now. And when I find one, let's keep it simple with a spaghetti. We'll see if he can do that. I would tell my children, maybe don't say I'm in a relationship or this is my girlfriend or my boyfriend. I would say just date until someone asks you to marry them. Goated, green flag in a partner.
Compassion, empathy. What about you?
I would definitely appreciate someone like that. I'll say respect, personally, and affection.
Yeah.
I'm having baby fever, like I want to do it. Anyways.
GOAT love language.
Number 1, I think is quality time.
For sure.
Number 2, I think for me is physical touch. Number 3 would probably be words of affirmation. Number 4, I would choose acts of service probably. And number 5, I would choose as receiving gifts. I think they should introduce a new love language, which I feel like will be rooted in some sort of mental stimulation based on communication,
Somebody who wants to understand you is top tier.
For sure. I need that intellectual stimulation.
Relationship with Thug. How did this even happen?
He messaged me about who I was signed to. I thought he wanted to work. Eventually I did a song that I wanted him to get on. And then I was telling him hey, I want to do a song. He was like, well, when you get back to Atlanta, pull up on me. And then I pulled up. At first he was just on the opposite side of the room. 45 minutes to an hour had gone by in the same room with limited interaction. And then eventually he came up there and was like, I know you want a song from me, but I want you.
There's obviously things that happened through the calls being released that did affect your relationship with your girl or did impact that. And sometimes it's not that she can't come to you, but it is difficult for the person who is causing the hurt to fix the hurt. How were you two able to mend your relationship over some of the things that could have in a situation where she is showing the ultimate support, you guys have the ultimate love? It could have pulled you guys apart, but it seemed to bring you closer. How did you all continue the communication to keep you close during those times?
The thing about it is, I think it didn't have a crazy ripple effect to us because we already knew. We already knew. Goddamn, when I was in jail, some people had sent her some phone calls and stuff when I was in jail of me talking to other girls and all that, just like that type of shit. So we already knew everything that came on the internet. Everything that just happened these last 2 or 3 weeks, me and her already knew. We already done talked about it. I already got cussed out about it. Broke up with, got back together, moved on. All this shit happened when I was in jail. And that was just another burden, another fucking situation I was dealing with in jail, So we was already past it. Obviously, it played a new part because it's she was told all these things by me when I was in jail, but she ain't never heard it. So now it's another sadness, another sad moment. It's just damn, bro, you already cried about this shit. You already done goddamn cussed me out, chewed me out about this. You already done did. We already done went through this whole motion. I'm not trying to relive this shit because the internet is hearing it. We already know about it. We been knew about it. You chose to stay with me, so it's just we rocking. You know what I'm saying? But I had to just sit down and listen to her point of view, and she just was like, it's a different when me and you know, and we moving. Nigga, I'm a motherfucking phenomenon too. I'm the world look at me.
Amazing.
You know what I'm saying? I'm a not, you know what I'm saying? She shit, I'm one of them too. So
I like that too.
Yeah, nigga, I'm like that too. Yeah. You gotta understand, I knew about it, but nigga, it's a different type of embarrassment to see a nigga that you riding with or you just holding down through this dark ass moment, just be on the phone with another bitch, no matter what it's about. I just had to sit damn, you right.
Hold up, limitless, nigga, send me cap pinning it. I father here to witness it.
Do you feel like when you're in a relationship, it's kind of hard to make music?
Music is not to be taken literally, and I feel like a lot of people do that. I think it just comes down to character. I like to extend that grace to him to do his thing, because I wouldn't want him trying to step on me about what I'm saying. And I'm probably just not gonna be I'm gonna cheat on you, I'm gonna freak with this. You know what I'm saying? I probably would talk seductive, but probably not cheating. I'm really not feeling that.
The internet wasn't ready for this. 1 minute, Young Thug is one of the most debated artists of the decade. The next, he's on stage, lights flashing, crowd screaming, and he's proposing to Mariah the Scientist in front of everybody. No warning, no buildup. Just a ring, a microphone, and a moment that instantly split the internet in half. Some people called it romantic, others called it embarrassing, and a lot of people had the same question on their mind. After everything that happened, how did we get here? Because this wasn't just a proposal, it was the climax of a relationship the public has been side-eyeing for years. And the deeper you look into it, the more complicated it gets. But to understand why this moment caused so much outrage, you have to go back to the part most people conveniently forget. This didn't start on that stage. It started when almost everyone else walked away. Mariah the Scientist wasn't just dating Young Thug. She was publicly tied to him in a way most people wouldn't dare to be. They'd been together for about 4 years after she originally reached out to collaborate on music. But once his legal situation exploded, the relationship stopped being private, and that's when most people disappear. Except Mariah did it. She showed up. In court, online, in interviews, at events. She posted him, spoke about him, called him her person while the world was dragging his name daily. When people say she rode for him, they're not exaggerating. Her loyalty wasn't quiet, it was loud, visible, and permanent. She didn't just stand by him emotionally. She tied her image to his situation, and that matters because once you do that publicly, leaving isn't just a breakup anymore. It becomes a statement, a collapse, a rebrand. At the time, many people praised her devotion. Others warned her she was putting herself in a dangerous position. Turns out, both sides might have been right. Because while Mariah was holding it down on the outside, something was happening behind the scenes that would eventually flip public sympathy overnight. And when it came out, there was no spinning it. Earlier this year, leaked jail calls hit the internet. Not rumors, not speculation, actual conversations. In those calls, Young Thug was allegedly bragging about stepping out on Mariah multiple times. There were conversations with other women, even claims that crossed lines people didn't think could be crossed while locked up. The details spread fast. Blogs picked it up, social media clipped it, and suddenly, Mariah wasn't being praised anymore. She was being pitied. Because this wasn't quiet betrayal. This was public embarrassment on a level that's hard to come back from. People asked the obvious question, how could she stay after that? And for a moment, it looked like she didn't. They reportedly split. The internet rallied behind her. Think pieces popped up about self-respect, boundaries, and knowing when to walk away. But that moment didn't last, because not long after, they were back together. And that's when public opinion fully turned, not just against him but against her. People started calling her naive, weak, settling. A lover girl who loved too hard for someone who didn't deserve it. But here's the thing, from the outside, leaving looks easy. From the inside, psychology tells a very different story. When someone hurts you but also gives you love, attention, and reassurance, your brain doesn't separate those experiences. It links them. That's called trauma bonding. Pain followed by affection creates emotional confusion. The person causing the damage also becomes the person who soothes it. And slowly, your nervous system starts craving the relief more than avoiding the pain. You don't just love them, you need them. And that's why people don't leave when it makes sense to leave, because logic isn't driving the relationship anymore. Chemistry is. Add time, history, promises, and shared struggle to that mix, and it gets even harder to walk away. Especially when the relationship has already been witnessed by millions. Because now there's another layer, image. Mariah's love for Young Thug wasn't private, it was part of her public identity. Fans knew her as the woman who stood 10 toes down while he was facing everything. The girlfriend who didn't fold when it got ugly, the artist whose softness contrasted with his chaos. Walking away wouldn't just feel like losing a partner, it would feel like losing a version of herself the world already recognized. That creates something called cognitive dissonance. Your brain tries to hold two opposing truths at the same time. He loves me. He hurts me. Instead of accepting that those things can't coexist in a healthy way, the mind starts rewriting the story, making excuses, highlighting the good moments, downplaying the bad ones. Because admitting the truth would mean admitting that the relationship you defended publicly might have never been what you thought it was. And for someone whose image, art, and identity are tied to that love, that realization is devastating. So you hold on. Not because you don't see the damage, but because letting go would hurt even more. At least, that's how it feels. But then something shifted that no one expected. The power dynamic changed. When Young Thug was at his peak, the balance wasn't equal. He had the status, the influence, the leverage. And according to many observers, that's when the disrespect happened. But now, the internet's energy toward him has cooled. His reputation is complicated. The admiration isn't what it used to be. Meanwhile, Mariah's career has been rising. Her image is clean, her fan base is loyal, her aesthetic, her music, her presence, all glowing. And suddenly, the relationship doesn't look the same anymore. People started asking an uncomfortable question. Why do some men decide to commit once their power fades? Why does marriage come after the chaos, not during the peak? Is it growth? Or is it fear of losing the one person who never left? Because from the outside, this proposal didn't feel like a beginning. It felt like a response. Then came the moment, the concert, the stage, the ring. Young Thug, newly free, doing exactly what Mariah had said she wanted all along. Marriage, family, a future. But not behind bars. On paper, it looks like a promise fulfilled, but the timing made people uneasy. Because nothing about the past had been resolved publicly. No accountability, no explanation, just a grand gesture in front of thousands. And while Mariah looked happy, genuinely happy, the internet wasn't convinced. Some people said this was redemption. Proof that he's trying to do right, that love evolves, that mistakes don't define the future. Others saw it differently. They saw a man securing stability at a moment when his options were shrinking, and a woman accepting a ring she'd been emotionally holding space for, long before she probably should have. Neither side can fully prove their point. And that's what makes the situation so polarizing, because two things can be true at once. It's possible Young Thug genuinely wants to change. It's also possible Mariah loves him deeply. Both of those things can exist at the same time. But love alone doesn't erase patterns. It doesn't undo public embarrassment, broken trust, or moments that quietly reshaped how someone sees themselves. A ring doesn't rewrite history, and a public proposal, no matter how grand, doesn't automatically heal private wounds that were never fully addressed. That's why this moment hit such a nerve. Because it wasn't just about two celebrities getting engaged, it was about something far more familiar. It reflected situations so many people recognize in their own lives, even if they've never said it out loud. Staying longer than you should. Explaining behavior you once swore you'd never tolerate. Loving someone through versions of themselves that keep hurting you, while convincing yourself that patience is the same thing as growth. It's about hoping harder when you're already exhausted. Telling yourself that if you just hold on a little longer, something will finally change. Waiting for the moment they choose you fully, openly, and without hesitation after you've already given everything you had to give. And when that moment finally comes, it doesn't feel like a crossroads. It feels like relief. You don't stop to question it. You don't rewind the tape. You don't replay the nights you cried, the apologies that never came, or the boundaries that slowly disappeared. You accept it. Because walking away after surviving all of that wouldn't just feel like heartbreak, it would feel like losing for nothing. Like admitting the pain didn't lead anywhere meaningful. So you tell yourself this is the payoff. This is the proof. This is the moment that makes it all make sense. At the end of the day, people are going to do what they want to do. Outsiders can analyze, critique, and argue all they want. But you can't be more upset about a relationship than the person who's actually living inside it. Mariah said yes because she wanted to, because in her heart, in her reality, this moment felt right. And that doesn't make her weak. It makes her human. Whether this turns out to be real growth, genuine redemption, or just another cycle repeating itself, only time will tell. Love stories don't reveal their truth in one moment. They reveal it in what happens after the applause fades and the cameras turn away. But one thing is clear. This wasn't just a proposal. It was a mirror, and depending on who's watching, it reflects something very different. For some, it looks like loyalty paying off. For others, it looks like a warning they wish they had listened to sooner. And for many, it's uncomfortable because it forces them to confront their own choices, their own compromises, and the lines they once promised themselves they'd never cross. So the real question isn't whether the internet approves. It's whether love that was built on survival can evolve into something built on respect. And that's something no comment section can answer.